Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title of the video, this is going to be kind of like a Q&A get ready with me video. As you can see, I'm already ready, like hair and makeup all done. I'm excited to show you guys how to achieve my kind of everyday makeup routine that I do, and also I was trying something new today with my hair, as you can tell. And if you're probably wondering like, oh, Christina, how did you grow like that many inches on your hair? It's because I'm wearing hair extensions right now from Bellamy, and that actually leads me to the sponsor of this video today. Thank you, Bellamy, for sponsoring this video. If you guys have never heard of Bellamy or are not familiar with their products, they are professionals in the hair space. They have everything from hair tools to hair care products, but obviously what they're most known for are their hair extensions. They literally have all kinds of hair colors and hairstyles to match with your hair. Honestly, I thought it'd be really hard to find one that matched with my specific hair color because my hairdresser kind of just made a concoction of like coppers, reds, and oranges to make this very specific color, but I just easily sent them a picture of what my hair looked like in the natural light, and they suggested a color for me. And then obviously it's a perfect match. Here, I'll give you guys a little like close-up of my hair extensions. Like literally look at what a difference it makes. It just gives me more volume on my hair above, but then obviously it goes all the way down to my waist. I'm really excited to get into this video and show you guys how I achieved this look, while also of course answering your guys' questions that you left on my social media and just questions in general about, you know, working in fashion, working at a fashion magazine, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to get into it. But yeah, if you guys are interested in trying any of the Bellamy hair products that I talked about in this video, or if you wanted to give a try of styling your own extensions, I'm going to leave all the information down in the description below for you guys to explore and find your own, you know, color to match your hair, so you can kind of play with having really long hair if you have like short hair. But yeah, just wanted to get into the video, give you guys a little intro, and yeah, see more for how to achieve this look. Okay, you guys, this is me barefaced without makeup, starting with a very clean face. I only have skincare on. As I said in the intro, I'm going to be answering some of your guys' questions about working in fashion and just career-oriented questions in general, but also I'm going to give you guys who are maybe new here a little bit of a background of who I am and like what my work experience is. So I typically don't like to wear that much stuff on my face, so I don't wear like a full foundation, although it is like full coverage. I wear skin tint, and the one I use right now is the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint, and I go between T7 and T6, and I actually mix them together and it gets my perfect skin color. As you can see, I just did like a laser facial treatment, so there's a couple of redness, but the redness is like settling down, but we're gonna fix that with my skin. And then I do that with a beauty blender because I just live by the beauty blender. I don't use brushes at all, and I wash this thing every day because I am prone to breakouts. So yeah, I'm really good about washing this every day. I don't use it if I don't wash it. Let me give you guys a quick intro of like who I am for any new people and a little bit about my background, because maybe even if you've watched some of my videos, you don't know like what I do and how I started working in the fashion industry. I would say my start in like my fashion journey began in college. I studied at the Parsons School of Design, which is one of the top design schools. That's where I studied and went to college, and that was my dream school from when I was young. Like, not to sound cliche, but I'd watched a lot of Project Runway and stuff, and I knew that I always wanted to go to Parsons eventually, because at first that's what I thought I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be a fashion designer. So I went to school at Parsons, and basically, long story short, I'm not going to give you the whole spiel, but I graduated, but when I graduated, I realized that I didn't want to do fashion design anymore. Like, I didn't want to design. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I just know that I didn't want to design. The first job that I got out of college was in design. It was working for Cup, an intimates and swimwear company, and it was basically doing like technical design and graphic design and like fashion design all tied up in one, just all around design. And I knew that at that point, like, I didn't want to work in fashion anymore after that because it just wasn't for me. I just felt like it was, I mean, every job in fashion you'll learn is like long hours, but it was long hours. It was a lot of work behind the scenes, which I like, you know, I was doing social media at that time as well, so I kind of wanted to be in front of the camera more. So that kind of led me down a rabbit hole of like, I don't know what I want to do in my career now, because I studied fashion design. I thought I wanted to be a fashion designer, and now that's not what I want to do anymore. So after that, honestly, I've done a lot of jobs, so I don't remember 1,000% what I did, but after that I did other jobs in fashion to kind of test out what I wanted to do. That included some of my most like memorable jobs like PR. I went back to a PR company that I had interned with, and after that I thought that I was a PR girly because, you know, I thrive on chaos and I like to do I'm like when I'm always busy, but PR was too much for me. I think it was because I was working at an agency. I tell people this all the time that unless they think they're cut out for agency, they should probably do PR in-house for a brand or a company, because an agency is a lot because you have a lot of different clients to deal with. And in my case, I was working with like a boutique agency, which means it's a smaller PR agency, and they had a lot of clients and not a lot of people working. So it was like I was like working across 8 different clients, and they were in like different time zones. So it was like Australia, California, Asia, like it was just like it was a lot. And then to like keep up with all that work, and you always kind of in PR you always kind of have to be at the mercy of your client, for lack of a better word, because, you know, they're the ones paying the big bucks and stuff. You always want to be on top of everything, and that was just too much for me to deal with. I wasn't getting any sleep. I didn't have a like work-life balance, none of that. So that was, you know, my time in PR ended really abruptly. And then I went to work at magazines because I have always wanted to work at a magazine, but I just kind of didn't know how to enter that space. Like my dream was always to work at a big magazine, like, you know, Harper's Bazaar and Vogue, but I just always thought that you had to just like be a writer to work at a magazine, but that is not the case at all. Starting as a fashion assistant, which is what I did, is a great way to get entry-level experience into a magazine and to like get connections and, you know, meet people who work at the magazine and even possibly start writing, because I was writing when I was a fashion assistant. So I started working at W Magazine, and that's when I kind of got into the world of magazines and editorial work. And I was, okay, so like a fashion assistant, it's not going to be glamorous. You're doing a lot of tedious work. You're steaming clothes, you're organizing clothes for shoots, you're doing sample trafficking in and out for shoots. And, you know, it's a lot, but if you treat it the right way and you make the right connections and you talk to the right people, then it's possible to move on from there or even get promoted from your job. I only stayed at like W Magazine for, I think it was a couple months before I left to do the job that I have now, and it's because I kind of didn't see myself working in a fashion assistant position for long. I kind of saw it as a jumping off point, but some people do stay in that position for a long time, and it helps them gain more experience. I just knew that that's not what I wanted to do. So I kind of quit my job, didn't have anything lined up. The parent company that I work at currently, they had a job posting for a social video coordinator that I was really interested in, and it would be working across the brands that they have, so the different magazine publications that they have. And so I applied for it, and it was a lengthy application process. I also had to do an edit test, which is to like show your skill and your ability and like obviously what you're getting the job for, which is video editing and like video conceptualizing and all that. And long story short, I got the job. Basically, the social video coordinator position, what I was hired to do, it was just a fancy name for like a TikToker, for lack of a better word, because the brands that I was working for, the magazine brands that I was working for, didn't have already established TikToks. I was hired on to help with TikToks. Did I have prior experience doing TikTok? Not really, but I kind of made it work through the edit test, of course, but also I kind of had my own personal social media following, so it showed my ability to make viral content, edit videos, you know, caption videos, caption writing, all of that stuff. So I kind of treated it like my portfolio. I didn't have a formal portfolio, and that's how I kind of landed the job that I am at now. And now I've been working there for 2 years, but now I do more stuff across all of social for the magazine that I'm working for. So I only did TikTok in the beginning, but now I'm doing Instagram, Threads, like I'm touching all of those different platforms. This is my favorite mascara of all time. It's the Lash Paradise. I literally buy them in bulk because it's so good for my Asian eyelashes that does not stay up. Okay, that is the first eye done. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but it's a big difference. And it all depends on like curling the eyelashes first from the root. Okay, so the first question, we're just going to jump right into it. This was a super specific question, but I'm sure a lot of you guys who want to work in a magazine are wondering. how can I write for a fashion magazine? I don't want to say the answer is simple because it's not, but I feel like the advice that I'm going to give you guys is a good jumping point. So one way that I have that you can write for fashion magazines is to pitch to fashion publications. So there are a lot of people who are like freelance writers, and that's how a lot of people start out. Like they start freelancing for a magazine before they like come on and there's like a job opening and they sign on full time. But a good way is to think about the publication that you want to write for, that you think the content that you want to write for, it speaks to their ethos and like what their brand morals are, and then go into looking who the editors are for specific departments of that publication. So like if you want to write about beauty, if you want to write specifically about fashion, like I would look into who the editors are on those teams at the magazine that you want to write for. You can also do a lot of different magazines and reach out to a lot of different editors. I would just suggest you to like really specifically think about who you want to write for and not just like do outreach to every single magazine that you can think of just because you want to like up your chances, because it's not going to really make any sense. A lot of the magazines like have their own, tell different stories and have different audiences, so I don't think you should just like put yourself out there for every single one that you can think of. Really think about what you're trying to tell, and maybe a specific story is better for a specific magazine, while, you know, another one is good for another one. So I would say pitching to editors first, and if it's really hard for you to find these editors' emails, then you're not trying hard enough. I worked in PR where I had to pitch out to so many people and I had to find their emails or find a form of contact anywhere. It's possible, you just have to like, you know, really do your Google search and really look into it. Look at people's Instagram, look at people's LinkedIn if they've connected their email to it. So pitching stories is definitely one way, and I've been on the other side of it where I have pitched stories before and people have responded to me, so it is possible you will get a response. You can also do follow-up. I wouldn't follow up too many times. I'd follow up probably like once or twice within like a 1 to 2 week span, and if you still don't get a response, then I think it's just best to move on. I would also say, like, a lot of people are against this, but you know, DMing is not the worst thing. In my professional career, I have DM'd a lot of people for like job opportunities, internship opportunities, and have gotten a response back. So it's really not the worst thing. And they can also like click into your social media profile and see the kind of person you are and what you post about and how you put yourself out in the world. So would also suggest that. Also, I think another way to like write for fashion publications is to first build up your portfolio and build up your writing repertoire, but to start your own Substacks. A lot of writers and editors are doing that now, to make your own blog where you can just kind of like write freely and write stuff that you would write for other publications, so that you can pitch those out and you can have those as examples of your writing ability. That is also a really good way. Now I'm going to do my eyeliner, which is like a coveted secret. Not really, but it's like how I do my eyeliner. I don't really know the best way to show you guys, so I'm going to kind of explain it. And I get compliments a lot on my eyeliner because it really accentuates my eyes, but the best way to explain it is basically I just draw a line starting from the outer crease out just for my wing, and I make it like kind of straight because I want my eyes to look more almondy, and then I connect it from the half point of my eyelid and I just connect it and draw a wing. I don't know, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. I don't know how well you will be able to see it, but okay, so I kind of draw like little lines on the end. Okay, so there is the first one, and if I want to dramatize it a little bit, I'll do it more, but I think this is okay for right now. Okay, I don't know how even these are because I don't have my glasses on and I can barely see, but that is my eyeliner. I'll probably fix it up when I can actually see. So this next question is, do I need a degree in fashion to work my way in the fashion industry? So I've talked about this a lot. I personally don't think that you need a degree working in fashion, and that is just from my own experience and from what I've seen. Obviously, I have a degree. I told you guys I have a fashion design degree. Do I feel like it has helped me throughout my career? Not really. Do I think I could have gotten this job that I have now without my degree? Maybe. Who's to say? I don't know, because obviously I showed my resume with my degree. I will say that obviously, like, having a degree helps out a lot. Like, I think having on my resume that I went to Parsons and I have this like fashion background helped me, of course, but I don't necessarily think that if I didn't have it on my resume that I would not be considered or even selected for this same job, because, you know, there was an edit test. There were a lot of other factors that determine whether or not I got all the jobs that I was working in. I also know so many people who are really high up in the industry who like are directors and like executive directors in that level who don't have a degree, or even senior positions. They like don't have a degree at all, or they have a degree that's not fashion related, so that's like completely unrelated. And that's what I see a lot of as well. So don't feel like you need to have like a fashion design, like a fashion marketing degree to have a job in fashion, because I don't think that's true at all. You know, I grew up in an Asian family, and obviously going to school was very important for them, and my dad and my parents at the time were also helping me out for school, to pay for school, so that's why I went to school, and I don't regret it. Obviously, I made a lot of friends in college as well, but I definitely don't think that you need it to be successful. Especially, it depends on what you want to do in fashion, but especially like jobs like fashion design and being a creative director, if that's something that you want to become for a big brand, I don't think that you need that knowledge. I think if you have the technical skill and maybe you took like sewing classes or technical design classes, or you were like did a mentorship or whatever, that is gonna help you a lot more than it is to like attend classes. Especially since maybe I'm biased because I went to classes during COVID, so it really was not a productive time for me. Like I was literally learning from YouTube on how to sew, and like my professor was sending me YouTube videos and stuff, so I was just like, oh, why do I need to go to school? Why do I need to pay these thousands of dollars to go to a prestigious fashion school when I can just do it myself? But that's just my opinion. It's kind of a controversial opinion, but that's where I stand in terms of like the years that I've worked in this industry and what I've seen. Okay guys, for my lip combination, I switch out between different lip liners, but right now I'm going to be using a Maybelline lip liner, and it's kind of dead, so I don't know how I'm going to use it. It's in the shade 08 Line Leader, and then I'm using one of my favorite like ceramide lip tints at the moment, Anfisa Skin. So this has a really good color. It's like My Lips But Better. Okay, the next question is, how long are the working hours? Do you also work on weekends, or do you even sleep? Okay, so this is a question that I'm sure a lot of people have about working in fashion. Okay, I will say that when you first start out a job, they will tell you that it is normal working hours. So that's pretty much like 8 hours a day, so either 10 to 6 or 9 to 5. And it's kind of like known when you start a job in the fashion world that you're gonna have to go beyond those hours. Like that's just something you do. And I feel like it's because also a lot of jobs in fashion are like, obviously like you get a job to make money, but a lot of the jobs in fashion are also like because you love it and you work extra hours or this and that because you love your job and you love what you're doing. So it really depends. All jobs are different. I'll tell you a little bit about the jobs that I have worked, and all jobs have been the same for me. Like fashion design, when I was working in design, the hours were long because, you know, you'd have to make these deadlines of like shipments and all these stuff of like launches and stuff. So, you'd kind of start at like the regular time, but you'd work into the late nights. Fashion design, I didn't work many weekends. I'll be very honest with you. I just worked many late hours during the week. They didn't really make you work a lot on weekends. So yeah, that was that. PR is a whole different beast. And I'll also say that's because I worked in an agency, and I told you I was working across 8 different clients, different time zones. So I was working really early in the morning, really late at night, and then also I would finish work or catch up on work on the weekends to like set myself up for the week ahead. In PR, it's a very collaborative and hands-on job. So I was in office 5 days a week, which was crazy for me because, you know, especially since COVID, a lot of jobs now are not in the office 5 days a week, but it was a lot for me. But that's why I'm kind of used to being in the office a lot. The current job that I have now, which is technically a social job, but I am working at a magazine, it's hybrid situation, so we go in like 3 or 4 days a week. And the hours, though, because I'm working on social, could be different from, let's say, if you were a writer working at a magazine. So my hours are kind of like, I don't want to say like 24 hours, but you're kind of always on, because being in social, you kind of have to just, if there's news, you got to jump on it. If there is a show during fashion week, like your hours are busy. So personally, right now, my hours, I'm kind of working, you know, I'm starting at a regular time, honestly, sometimes a little later, and then I will go into the night, especially if I have to attend a premiere or an event, which I usually do throughout the week. I am also on weekends, just in case something comes up, like news doesn't stop just because it's Saturday and Sunday, so I'm on during the weekends as well. And to answer this other part of the question of like, do you even sleep. I do get a lot of sleep. I try to sleep at an early time. I'm also someone who doesn't need sleep to like thrive. Obviously, like on the weekends, like I'll catch up on sleep because I'm a human being and I do need it at the end of the day, but it's not like if I don't sleep 8 hours, I'm gonna be like not able to work. Any tips for breaking into fashion and beauty writing as a career? So I kind of received this general question of how to break into the fashion and beauty writing industry. People were saying I'm struggling to even snag an interview for magazines. For me, this is my personal opinion. I think that it's very important to have a strong, not social media presence, but a presence of where your work is featured online, because nowadays, like, we're so locked into our phones and computers, and everyone's just like, you can look somebody up in the snap of your fingers on your phone, and you can see what they've done, you can see what accolades they have, you can see how they portray themselves on social media, da-da-da-da-da. So I would say that it's important to kind of have that outlook, whether, again, like I said, if you don't like to show your face, you can have a Substack, you can have a blog, you can honestly just have an Instagram and post your work and, like, the stuff that you care about and the stuff that you do without ever showing your face. I would also say, like, specifically for breaking into magazines, there are a lot of jobs as a fashion assistant at a magazine because there's high turnover rate for that specific role because it's usually contracted for like 3 or 6 months or can be extended. But I would say, like, first getting your toes wet in that space to see if you even want to work in a fashion magazine environment. I know a lot of people who did a fashion assistant job because they wanted to also see what it was like working at a magazine, but they didn't like the environment at all. They just didn't like, editorial and da-da-da-da-da. So would definitely try that out first. That's how I kind of knew that I wanted to be in this space and in this world, because I just love the environment of it. I have always tried to, like, not apply in the traditional sense. Like, obviously, like, I apply for job applications and stuff, but I always try to, like, look at people's stories. Like, there's a couple people who I follow who I look up to in the fashion industry, and, like, when they posted something like, I'm looking for a new assistant or I'm looking for a writer to join my team, like, I will jump on that because that's more of like a personal thing, and they'll usually give their email where you can send your resume, and that's how you kind of get like an in. So I would look out for those. Also, like, not like a shameless plug, but I do post a lot of opportunities that I see on my story just to help people out, because I know a lot of people who are following me on Instagram are young and also looking for jobs in the same way that I was looking for jobs. So if I see one of my friends who are working in the industry that I'm friends with now, that they're looking for someone to join their team, I screenshot it and I put it on my story, and it gives you information on how you can apply. I think I may have answered this question before in another Q&A, but I'm going to answer it again because you guys all seem to want to know what it is. Basically, what is an edit test, and do all magazines require the test? So an edit test is exactly what it sounds like. It's a test to see your editing skills in whatever job that you're applying for. And do all magazines require the test? I can't really speak for all magazines, but most of them do. Especially since, like, these days, a lot of people don't really have a portfolio. Like, I feel like it wasn't like back then where people have, like, websites for portfolios or even, like, documents or slideshows where they keep all of their work. Their work is kind of just, like, out there in the ether and on their social media, like, they post about it. So yeah, most publications do require an edit test to see what you can do, and they give you very specific, like, questions that relate to their publication. So, like, when I was doing it for this job that I have now, it was like specific stuff that they would post about and that they would make videos for, that they asked me to, like, kind of mock up a video for, which obviously it makes sense because they want to see how you can do the stuff that relates to them. And yeah, I would just say, like, my tips for doing well on the edit test is, like, really studying what that publication does, whether or not you're trying to be, like, a writer or, like, in my case, like, a social editor for the magazine. I would just, like, since I was, like, doing social, I would, like, stalk their Instagram account, I would stalk their TikTok, I would stalk, like, their writing style, their brand voice, so that, when you're writing captions, you can mimic that similar voice. But then I would obviously put my own spin on it. I don't want to sound like a robot machine who's just, like, copying everything that they're doing. I want to show them that, oh, you want to hire me because I have this, like, other perspective. I think when I was editing some of my videos for my edit test, I was, like, showing my face a lot, and I was, like, doing a lot of, like, jump cuts or stuff that, like, I would do in my own videos because, you gotta believe in yourself and not have imposter syndrome. And if you want them to hire you, you want them to hire you because of the way you do things too, as well. Like, obviously you can shift it to their voice, but the way that I edit my videos on social media, like it's very jumpy, it's very all over the place, but it's still like organized and fresh, but it's also like, because, you know, people's attention spans are like not getting better, they're getting worse. So I try to like cater to that in my videos, and that's now what I do for, you know, work. For example, a writing edit test, to be like an editor or something, they might ask you to write like 300 to 400 words on this subject, or they might be like, pitch 3 headlines for this article or something like that. So those are just some examples of what an edit test might ask you. The edit test might be the most, to me, the most, besides the interviews, the most important part of the job application process, because think about it, if they're asking multiple people to do an edit test, you want to make sure that your work stands out amongst the rest, or else why would they hire you? So for me, it was very important, and I was told that after I submitted my edit test that I did a really good job, and like my videos were like entertaining, and that's why they wanted to hire me in the first place. Do you feel comfortable at your life right now working in fashion? And this is talking about financially. Yes, I feel comfortable. I think there were times in my early part of my career where I didn't feel comfortable financially, just because, you know, you transparently don't get paid a lot in fashion jobs in general. That's just like a known thing, unless you're like kind of high up. I do feel comfortable in my life right now, but that is also because I also, like I said, have multiple side hustles to make money and help survive in New York City where I live. Like, it's not a cheap city. Like I said earlier, working in fashion, a lot of it comes from passion. Like majority of the people working in fashion do it because they love working in this job that they're working in. Me, I love the job that I'm working in, so it's like you really have to like love it. If it's between like working a fashion job or working like a tech job, obviously you have to have that experience to work the tech job. Some people, to survive, would most likely take the tech job, but it's like, would you actually enjoy it? Do you actually enjoy doing that? Or do you like, there's also a lot of like, I would say from the outside, it seems like a lot of glitz and glamour, which it is. There are so many amazing glamorous parts. If you guys follow me on social media, you see all the like, my Instagram is obviously very curated, and if you guys watch my vlogs, like they're also pretty curated, even though I do show like the realistic parts of it, but there is also a lot of hard work that goes into it. So I don't just get to go to events, and I don't get to do a lot of things unless I am putting in the work. And like I told you guys, like I work late nights, sometimes I work early mornings, I work on weekends, and like that's all known stuff that I have to do, but it pays off in other ways, because like, you know, obviously, yes, I'm getting paid for my job, but also I get to attend these concerts. I get invited to these concerts by brands. I get invited to events. I get clothes like and beauty products from like the beauty table at work. The next part of the get ready with me is very important because it is my hair. I see my hair as the most important part of the get ready with me because, you know, hair just always makes me feel more put together besides just having makeup. Like I could have no makeup, but have my hair done and I'll feel a little bit more put together. And so we're going to be using some extensions. This is my first time using extensions, but I've always wanted to try using extensions. Okay guys, I actually just propped you up by my mirror because I really want to show you how I'm doing this. But basically, the extensions are like kind of long. I didn't realize that I got them in such a long way, but my hair is already pretty long, so I think I could go longer. Okay, first of all guys, I want to show you how well these extensions match my hair color. But they match literally perfectly. So I'm excited to see what I look like with really long hair. So I'm gonna fast forward me applying them. Hey guys, just wanted to jump in here to share that if you want to get your hands on some hair extensions or anything else from Bellamy, they're having their Black Friday sale site-wide from now to November 30th, where you can get 25% off site-wide and free 2-day shipping. You can see on the screen or check in the description box below for my own personal code to use, and yeah, I hope you guys can get your hands on some of these fabulous extensions for all of your holiday parties and gatherings. Guys, I am so obsessed. It even looks good straight and unstyled, but I'm gonna style it for the sake of this video and just for it to blend a little bit better because my hair is like drier compared to these extensions, so it needs a little bit of TLC. We're gonna be styling it with my Dyson because if I don't use my Dyson, then it's gonna take forever. So we'll see how long this takes, but hopefully it doesn't take that long. one side done, and I have to brush it out a little bit, but this is one side, and it looks so good. I'm gonna do the other side now. Okay, this is the final product after styling my hair. My hair is a little bit shorter than extensions, so I'm gonna kind of like brush them in to make them match a little bit more. But honestly, it looks really good. Oh my God, wait, this is insane. I don't think my hair has ever been this long in my entire life, because I don't never leave it this long. So this is craziness. Here is a closer look of the extensions. Blends seamlessly into my hair, as you can see. You can't even tell that I'm wearing extensions. Guys, here's a better look of the full look of the hair extensions. I'm literally obsessed. I can't tell who this person is, but I think curling it made a wild difference.